Well, hi everyone, Sean Humphreys here. Welcome to this edition of the Take Charge of Change podcast. In this edition of the podcast, it's kind of focused on those baby boomer executives, professionals out there, but I think it applies to everyone, obviously. We're going to talk about two forms of exercise that are the best ways to stave off the effects of aging, to enhance our cognitive and creative powers and our energy. So you'll enjoy this edition of the podcast. Okay, so what are the two main forms of exercise that we can benefit from? Well, there's two categories. There's the aerobic exercise and there's strength training. Now, before you shut this podcast off, because you think you've heard it all before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some studies, and this article was in Business Insider magazine, and it was by Aaron Broadwin. And it was a great article because they went through and referenced a number of studies that kind of reinforce the efficacy of various forms of exercise. So I think you'll enjoy the information from this particular article. Now, a couple of comments about exercise. One of the things that drives me crazy around this whole topic is that it gets very polarized very quickly. In other words, one camp says CrossFit's the only thing you should do, or if you're over 50, you should only do, strength training. There's just all this, very, very, narrow, polarized kind of debate that goes on. And I think it's because, different camps have different agendas. But the reality, like a lot of things in life, is you need to shoot for a little bit of balance in your approach. And so both forms of exercise, both strength training obviously and aerobic training can provide you with some benefits. Now, one of the studies that was referenced was a study that was in the Journal of Circulation, believe it or not. And what they did is they referenced a study that was over a 2-year period, and they had 53 adults. They divided them into two groups, and then one group had a supervised fairly intense exercise program of 4 to 5 days per week. And the other group over that time period did yoga and balance exercises as an example. At the end of the study, when they looked at the two groups, the high intensity group of exercise showed significant improvements in their heart performance, and that suggested that stiffening in the heart can actually be prevented through regular cardio, fairly intense cardio. So as we age, there's a natural deterioration that takes place in our cardiovascular system. And it was found that regular exercise kind of pushed back that natural process, and it helped the participants to maintain a healthier cardiovascular system. So don't rule out cardiovascular exercise. It plays a very important internal role in making sure that our circulatory plumbing works really well for us. The other area is strength training, of course. That's really, really critical for anyone over the age of 45 or 50. If you have ever had a basic test on your percentage body fat, lean muscle mass, that kind of thing, you probably understand that you have to work really, really hard to maintain your lean muscle mass. And so one of the issues is as we lose lean muscle mass as we get older, it can be a very rapidly kind of deteriorating thing. And in fact, when you look at seniors facilities and long-term care facilities, a very high percentage of the people in those facilities are there not because of cognitive decline, but because they've lost the physical capacity to get up out of a chair on their own. They've just lost that function because their lean muscle mass has deteriorated so much. And it doesn't take a lot to maintain that muscle mass or recover it. So you need to make sure you're building into your regular routines, even in your 40s and 50s, regular strength training is absolutely critical to maintain your energy, your overall health and vitality. One study that was referenced from Harvard Medical School was the efficacy of Tai Chi, which you wouldn't think would have a huge impact, but that concentrated, slow movements, the tensing of the muscles had a very, very positive impact. A couple of strength training exercises that were shown in many studies to have a huge beneficial impact. If you looked at just two moves, one would be squats or using squat machines as almost a total body exercise, and planks. So, strengthen the core through plank exercises. There also was felt to be a very powerful link between regular cardiovascular exercise like swimming, walking, or cycling, and a lower risk of dementia. And so a study published in the Journal of Neurology suggested that women who were physically fit in middle age were roughly 88% less likely to develop dementia than those individuals who were not active. And so critical to our long-term cognitive capacities is this notion of just maintaining regular exercise and how it helps us to maintain our cognitive powers. When we look at activities like cycling, it was felt that cycling and other aerobic activities actually protected our immune systems. There's a study in the Journal of Aging Cells. Again, believe it or not, there's a journal called that. And they looked at 125 amateur cyclists aged 55 to 79, comparing them with 75 people of a similar age who rarely ever exercised. And the cyclists were found to have more muscle mass and strength and lower levels of body fat and cholesterol than the sedentary adults. Not surprising. The athletic adults also appeared to be healthier and younger looking when they looked at their immune systems. And at least when it came to T cell function and key immune cell function. And so what they concluded on the study was we now have strong evidence that encouraging people to commit to regular exercise through their lives is a viable solution to the problem that we are living longer, but we're not healthier, said the director of that particular study. Cardio workouts may also improve the look and feel of your skin. So researchers from McMaster University found that people over 40 who regularly did cardio tended to have healthier skin than their sedentary peers. The overall composition of the regular exerciser's skin was more comparable to that of 20 to 30-year-olds. Okay, so that's just a few things that were referenced in this article. It goes on to unpack, again, the critical importance of regular exercise, particularly aerobic exercise, in its ability to help our cognitive function, neuron development, synaptic development, and overall brain health was linked to regular cardiovascular exercise. Even exercise was linked to brain size and the function of memory. Okay, so hopefully you're convinced that starting an exercise program, working out regularly is a really important way to protect your professional and your personal resilience. Well, if you lead teams, and if you are trying to help your teams and your staff to improve their productivity, their proficiency, if you're leaning into achieving organizational goals and you want to get a lift in that direction, well, then reach out to us. We'd love to start a conversation about how we can craft customized programs to help your staff, your teams to be both professionally and personally resilient. You take care.